Great. Hello. Thank you so much for coming here, Dr. Robert Shiepe. And before we get into the topics, which will be very exciting today, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, I would. Thank you very much. I appreciate being here. My name is Dr. Robert Shiepe. I'm a clinical pharmacist in Los Angeles, born and raised in Los Angeles. I'm 66 years old. I live in Marina Del Rey and retired in 2012. And in 2017, something very extraordinary started to happen. I started recording very small, fast UFOs, UAPs. You can call them drones. I I give them the name of Dragon because 6 years ago I thought they were dragonflies, and
Yes.
they are not birds. They are not insects. They are not bugs. They're not dragonflies, but I still call them dragons because I thought they were dragonflies. Oh,
Yes,
so
I did watch your videos. Those are excellent videos. And what do you think they are?
that's a great question. I can only tell you the facts. The facts is that for 6 years, the government has been here 15,000 times with helicopters chasing these small UAPs. They are being chased. 2,000 miles an hour. They do trigger the X band on the radar spectrum. They are uncatchable. They are invisible to the human eye. They are visible to digital cameras. Digital cameras can see them. They are very fast. Anyone can record these. They're all over the world. If you have even your cell phone, if you have a 4K 60 frame cell phone, you can record these. It's very easy. I want to stress anyone can do this. Look for a helicopter, look for an airplane, zoom in halfway, hold your phone sideways, landscape, and record for 30 seconds. You will see a tiny dot. That tiny dot will be the UFO, the UAP, the Dragon.
Great.
Very predictable, I have 4,000 videos because they are very predictable. I know where and when they will be.
Yes, and I did watch the videos. Those are fascinating videos. And I also learned that you had quite interesting encounters with some of the friends of yours who had access or worked for in Area 51. Is that right?
Area 51. Well, it did yes, in 1983. I did know a gentleman, and he told me what was going on in Area 51. So he passed away. His name is Virgil. He passed away a long time ago, but he did tell me that they have a ship, and the ship, the UFO, is at an Air Force base, obviously. And not only is it inside a hangar, but they built a smaller hangar in the larger hangar. So the smaller hangar is like a 60 by 60. And he was invited to the smaller hangar. And the smaller hangar has windows on it. So when he walked up to the smaller hangar, he could look through the windows and he could see photographs of the UFO. So before they show you the UFO, they show you the pictures.
And was he told that they were trying to reverse engineer the crashed UFOs?
No, it was a courtesy. He
Mhm.
wasn't there to investigate. He was friends with a general. He was in the Korean War. This was 1980, 83, 84. But he was friends with the general. And as a courtesy, the general took him because he had a question about UFOs. And I know it's very odd, but the general said, I will take you. I will show you what we have. And so it was a courtesy. There was no technical questions other than he went to the smaller hangar with the windows, with the photographs, and it was covered with a tarp, and they pulled the tarp off and they showed Virgil. And after that, they said, okay, you have to leave now, Virgil. And I ran into Virgil 2 days later, and he told me the whole story.
Great. That's very interesting story that your friend or neighbor Virgil told you about. And I know you have had a lot of interesting encounters. You actually had, from some of the interviews that I listened to, you actually had out-of-body experiences in the past, and also had kind of encounters with ETs from other worlds. Would you like to share something about that?
Wow, Samuel, you've really done your homework. I'm very impressed.
Yes.
Yes and yes. Again, this was in the 80s. What I did was I decided to, because I'm a scientist, I have a heavy science background. You know, if you're a pharmacist, you have to have heavy science. And I decided to look into remote viewing or out of body. I wanted to learn how to do this. And I applied myself and I got very good at it very fast and very good at it. And what I did was I had a couple encounters. I had some encounters with some UFOs, and I believe they were from the star system, the Pleiades, the constellation, the Pleiades. And I did meet with one of the ships. It landed. I landed. I was flying in the air. I spoke with the pilot. It was a lady. She told me her name is Minera or Minora, one of those two, Minera or Minora. And she had a clipboard, and I went to read the clipboard, and she telepathically read it to me, and it was real simple. It said, she said, you are going to learn to fly. So she got up. I tried to stop her because I wanted to go much longer, and I was back in my body, so I could not stop her. But she said you would learn to fly. And I, even now, 40 years later, I wonder, what does she mean by that? Learn to fly what? But it's been continuous for 40 years. I've had paranormal encounters, very extreme, very amazing, very extreme, very positive, very positive. All of it's very positive. I even became friends with a psychic gentleman. His name's Glenn Falkenstein, but he was much more than a psychic. He far exceeds a psychic, far. He was, I don't even know how to describe him, but he was there's something in the paranormal world called the Akasha Records.
Yes, I know about that.
Okay, 1 second. I'm doing 3 things at once here. Just
By the way, just to let you know, your camera is not on right now.
it is on.
It is not on right now.
Oh, it's not on. Okay, let me see if I could. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just doing three things at once here. Okay, let me see. We get disconnected. Be patient. I'm not an expert on this.
No worries.
Oh boy, come on. Where did you go? It's close that. You're still there. Okay. Hold on, Sam. I'm having technical difficulty. Sorry here. Are we still there, Sam?
Yes, we're still here. Yes.
Okay, come on. It just should work. Just come on. Join. if we get disconnected, I'm sorry. I'll reconnect.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Sam. I think somehow I got kicked out of Zoom. Well, let me do my best to. Let me do my best to meetings. This is embarrassing here. Like I said, this is my first. This is my okay. I think I see you now. How do I turn? Okay, how do I turn my camera on?
On the, I don't know if you're using your phone or a computer. If it's computer, then on the lower left-hand side, there's a video.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there you
now
are.
I can see you. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're making progress. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
So you were talking about Glenn. I was very interested in knowing more about him. Like, did he ever tell you how he obtained this psychic abilities to access the Akashic record?
Again, Sam, you asked really good questions. He was born with it. He was born 1932. He was born and he assumed everybody was born with the gift. But right around the age of 7, he realized that nobody else had the gift. So he was just born with it. And I knew him for 25 years. I asked him questions, but not enough questions. Excuse me. I should have asked him 10,000 questions. I kind of took it for granted. I was friends with somebody like this, but if not to offend anybody, but it was very godlike. He could answer any question in 3 or 4 seconds. It didn't matter. So my point is, if you gave him a blank piece of paper, he could tell you everything on that blank piece of paper, where it came from. For instance, he was in the Air Force. So they used him as a decoder, a decryptor. And many times they would say, Glenn, we got a message at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's all we know is 3 o'clock in the morning. We don't know how to read it. He would just say, give it to me. And he would read the whole message.
Mm-hmm.
It was really no exaggeration. It was very scary, very spooky.
And I know that in some of the previous interviews, you mentioned that he was able to locate some of the hidden treasures in the past. That means that he can access the records that happened in the past. Did he say anything about the future?
Yeah, great question. Sam, I should have. I just took it for granted. I'm sorry. I made a huge error. He told me where there is a very expensive treasure buried in West Virginia. So if there are some serious treasure hunters, I will share that information. He told me reluctantly a little information about time travel.
What did he say about that?
Yeah, very real. He had a time traveler visit him every 2 or 3 years. And I did ask a lot of questions about that. I said, I lit up like a light bulb. I said, Glenn, what's going on here? Why do you have a time traveler coming to your home? And it was basically to just say hello, to visit. Evidently, Sam, when you're on his level of evolution, they say you are known for the friends you have, depending on the circle you move in. If you move in a circle with a lot of attorneys, if you're an attorney, you probably have friends who are attorneys. If you're a doctor, you probably have friends who are doctors. Well, because he was so psychic, his friends were like time travelers and UFOs, alien UFOs. He was friends with everybody in the government in Washington, D.C. They all knew him. They loved him. He would tell you, if you ask questions, he would tell you. He would rarely say no. The only time he was reluctant to tell me, he told me information about the time traveler. But it's not important who the time traveler was and why he was here. He was doing research. He was doing research from 250 years ago. It's kind of irrelevant. What's relevant is that time travel is very real, and that the time traveler could come and go like a light switch on and off. It wasn't complicated. I did ask him, Glenn, how did you meet this time traveler? And Glenn did a radio show in 1974 at Universal Studios in Studio City. And he recorded his radio show for 1 year. He said one day, this gentleman walked up to him and said, Glenn, I'm very impressed with your telepathy. Glenn was telepathic. And Glenn said, oh, thank you. He goes, well, I'm telepathic also. And I'm a time traveler. And Glenn spoke to him, and Glenn was very used to this. He wasn't impressed. You and I would be fascinated, but Glenn was like, oh, okay. Glenn was just, I don't know what planet he's from. I don't even, honestly, I don't get it, but he was very friendly, very positive. He would use his gift for good. He'd use it for charity. He would help children. He donated money to children's charity. He was a speech pathologist. He would work with autistic children. He could communicate with them. He was a school teacher in Los Angeles for autistic children. Believe me, this is the kind of guy you really want to be friends with, no matter who you are, because he could tell you anything about the past or anything about the future very quickly, and he was never wrong.
And do you know anything about his family or his ethnic background?
Yeah, well, his family is from Chicago.
Mm-hmm. His
father owned, it was called the Hi-Hat, a bar, a fancy bar on Rush Street in Chicago. It's kind of like the Rodeo Drive, the Beverly Hills in Chicago, very nice. His name was Louis Falkenstein. And I don't know if his father had the gift of being psychic. Maybe he did. I just did not ask enough questions, and that was my mistake. It was, believe me, I'm very disappointed with myself.
It's okay. I made the same mistake too, because I had the opportunity to meet with a person who had an encounter with ETs that have an advanced civilization, and I thought I would be able to ask him more questions when I visit him the next time, but he passed away in 2018. You know, no need to feel remorseful.
Yeah, you know, I could say this, that 1995, Glenn said, Robert, if you're interested in UFOs, let's go to Palmdale, California, and I will ask them to fly by. But being a pharmacist, I started a unique business in the world, but in the United States. I invented the mail order pharmacy business, the mail order. So I was very busy all the time. It was very successful, very extremely successful, but I was very busy. So when Glenn said, Robert, do you want to go to Palmdale? I said, no, Glenn, I'm too busy. And, but I could tell you this, 5 years ago, and Glenn passed away in 2010. But in 2017, Glenn never took the offer off the table. It was always there. So Glenn showed me, let's just say he showed me a video on YouTube, and it's the best UFO video in the world. It's in Palmdale, California. I can't stress how good it is. This is the kind of video that every university in the world will want to see. And I put it on my channel, Custodian Channel, and you can look at it right now. You can look at it. It's called, it's on YouTube. It's called Blue Angels Ride Looking Forward. Blue Angels Ride Looking Forward. Yeah.
Yes.
I could show you the video. I think I know how to do that.
Yes, I actually I can share the screen and maybe okay, you can.
Yeah, here, let me try to share the screen. Let me real quickly go to let's see, pictures, Palmdale. Great, thank you everyone. Welcome back. Appreciate all the past support. Oh, where did that come from? Hey, let's jump in. Oh boy, technical difficulties. Share.
I'm looking at your screen right now, like the Zoom screen.
Okay, let me
So
shoot. All right, let me show you the Palmdale. Let me show you this one Palmdale.
okay.
Palmdale, because this is probably the most valuable UFO video I have. Here we go. Super slow motion. 2017. This is the Blue Angels. This is the reflection. Can you see that, Sam?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, here's the wormhole. It's opening. Here comes the UFO. That's a wormhole right there, a portal. There's the UFO. It flies up to the screen. Here, let me back it up a little. Can you still see it?
I can still see it. Yes, it's very clear.
Okay, let me enlarge it. There you go. These little dots are dragons. Dragons escort. They protect larger UFOs. Let me back it up.
I'd like to see how the wormhole opened.
Sure, I'll back it up some more. So there's the UFO. It's coming out of the wormhole. There's the wormhole. It's a straight line. If you talk to physicists, there it is right there. Wormholes are not a tiny pin, but they are a straight line that folds back like a curtain. So there's the wormhole right here in front of us. There it is. There's that flash of lightning. That's dimension to dimension, interdimensional travel.
Yes.
That is achieved.
I understand that the wormholes are connecting this world to a parallel universe, and they use that to come in and out of Earth. And I know that for a fact.
Yes, that is a fact. Now, the thing is, this is the only hard part is the voltage. This is literally extremely high voltage, 1, 2, or 3 billion volts. And that's what we do not have. We do not have this. But there's the wormhole, there's the portal. That's the best, that's the best wormhole portal video in the world.
And speaking of wormholes, have you thought about, there's a guy named David Paulides who documented like a lot of missing people who hiked in the national parks in the US and Canada.
Yeah.
And have you thought about whether wormholes are like a natural phenomena that sucked people into this parallel universe?
That's a great question. I do not believe, I do not have a lot of belief in natural phenomenons. It's possible. I've just, until I see it, it's hard to believe. But again, parallel universes require billions of volts of electricity. It's a safety mechanism built into the universe. Otherwise, we would have contamination from dimension to dimension to dimension. we would have contamination, and that cannot be allowed.
I mean, I was thinking about all the disappearances of planes and ships near the Bermuda Triangle, and
Right.
also some of the other strange disappearances of ships elsewhere in the world. And
That is a great question. That needs to be investigated. It could be possible. There are natural wormholes. Uh, I just, I don't have enough knowledge about the science. I'm convinced wormholes are real. If you have access to billions of volts of electricity, you have wormhole. You'll have a wormhole.
yeah. So let's go back to Glenn, and he asked you to go with him to Palmdale, and then after he passed away, he kind of gave you a message, and so you saw this excellent UFO footage in Palmdale. What else
Yes.
did he communicate with you?
Let me see. I know you want to know about the future. No, he told me about the time travel. He gave me the UFO video in Palmdale. He told me where the treasure's buried. We should make a big TV series and go. I know where it is 100%. This will not be an experiment. He did record about 300 radio shows. We could do some of the radio shows. It's mind-boggling. He would tell you right now your social security number, your birthday, where you live, the hospital you were born in, the name of the doctor that delivered you. It wouldn't matter. Your family, everything about them.
And where can people access the radio shows?
I have not posted them yet. It's on my list to do, but I have 4,000 Dragon videos to get caught up. So, but if you contact me, custodianfile or custodianfile@gmail, custodianfile@gmail, I will send you the radio shows. I will send you a link. I've digitized about 100 radio shows. So I do a lot. I stay really busy.
That'll be great, because as the Congress are, and the people in Congress are kind of opening up to the existence of ETs and trash UFOs and UAPs, and a lot of people are asking, what does that mean in terms of the some of the things that are happening right now on Earth? We have a lot of wars here, and what does the existence of the ETs mean to how we live nowadays? And what are your thoughts on that?
It highly implies that we are watching you. We don't like this. It highly implies. In other words, if you had a party and it was out of control and the police came to your house in 10 or 20 police cars and they were standing outside your house, what they're saying is, we do not like this. This party is too loud. We are concerned. We have safety concerns. That is what they're saying to us. We have safety concerns. And the meeting's going to end in 10 minutes. This is the first time. Do you have a Zoom account offhand?
Yeah, I have a Zoom account. I'm going to send you a link
Okay.
once this is done. Yeah.
Okay, let's just keep talking and then just send me a link and we'll keep going. But what they're telling us is, look, unless you stop this fighting, we're never going to be friends with humanity. We're not going to do it. And I can't blame them. I can't blame them. If we don't stop arguing and disagreeing, they're not going to invite us in. But the reward is we can travel in ships they have, and we can travel to other dimensions and other planets. No more disease. There's a lot of reward here, incentives. So yeah, we do want to be friends.
Yes, some people say that the stories in the Bible, the Old Testament, Moses leading the Hebrews out of Egypt, actually he was guided by the ETs parting the Sea of Reeds, and some people mistakenly believe it's the Red Sea. But there are a lot of stories in the Bible that kind of show that the ETs were guiding us throughout history in the ancient past, like the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, which, as we all know, is terrible. And did Glenn say anything about the stories in the Bible or anything about the ETC model?
I did not question him about it. He was respectful of the spirit world, very respectful. But he would not promote a religion, a belief. he was more of a free will. I mean, you have free will and you believe what you want to believe. But if I had asked, he would have. Oh, for what it's worth, he was born February 3rd. Okay, February 3rd. So I took him out to dinner. I said, Glenn, this is a very special day. He goes, yeah. He goes, on this day also, Buddha and Jesus was born. How would anybody know that? How would, do we have to start a new link?
No, I'm just checking on something because I'm just because some people say Jesus was born on March 28th, or another date would be March. Like, it's definitely not December 25th. It's yeah. So he says that Jesus was born on February 3rd.
Oh, he said Jesus and Buddha were born on February 3rd.
I see.
I would go with February 3rd. I would just, this guy was never wrong. And if you listen to his tapes, his radio tapes from 1974, 50 years ago, you will see he's never wrong. People call on the phone, where am I? Where do I live? What's my address? What's my birth? He's always 100%, he gets it right. So his credibility is 100%.
I see.
Yeah.
And I also want to ask you, like, how are people receiving your messages? Like, whether it's the dragon UFOs or whether it's the out-of-body experiences, or even Glenn. How do people think about this? I mean,
okay. Well, the out-of-body, I only did that in 83, 84. So I don't really bring it up because I'm not an expert. I just got very lucky. Glenn is too hard to believe. Glenn is way too complicated. I don't know how I became friends with Glenn. That makes no sense. But the dragons, the UFO dragons, 6 years ago, people were very skeptical, but now it's more and more accepted. I can't stress. I give lectures at the Air Force Base. I'm the only civilian in the United States that can give dragon UFO lectures at an Air Force base.
And how did the audience react to what you spoke to them?
Oh, they were very serious. At the Air Force Base, they were very serious. There was no skepticism. They asked a lot of questions. I answered all their questions. They took it very serious.
Do you think that they would feel that as a threat, or do you think would be like just a security concern or something that they would open their arms and welcome?
No, they're not going to. No, they're not going to open their arms and welcome. They see it as a security threat, and they want to know everything they can do to protect the security of the country. I get that. And I can speak to that too. They did shoot at a dragon, and they did shoot down a dragon in 2008. I can go into that. If you want to send a new link, I mean, it's up to you, Sam.
Yes, let me do that. Let me send you a link, and then we can start it.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to end this, right?
Okay, great.
Okay.